Greetings to you all. I've been following Trinnov's YouTube channel since I first discovered their products. Last summer, they released a video showcasing the waveforming reference room filmed at Pulse Cinemas. And it immediately sparked the thought, why not to reach out for them? To my delight, I received a positive response, and before long I was on my way to visit Pulse Cinemas showroom. Pulse Cinemas are distributors of such brands as Krix, Screenresearch, Acoustic, Kaleidescape and Trinnov. I had a great time visiting their showroom and really enjoyed the demo material that I saw. I have recorded interviews with Ian, Tom and David. They shared some exciting facts about the showroom and the brands that they represent. Just before I start, I'd like to encourage you to subscribe to BoardTech channel. It is very important as your subscriptions are helping me to open doors into exciting places like this showroom. If you would like to support BoardTech channel financially, you can use the Super Thanks feature here on YouTube or consider becoming a patron on Patreon. You will find all the useful links in the description down below. Let's begin with Ian Mallory, who is a home cinema sales specialist at Invision UK. He will say a few words about the company and its structure.
The parent company is Midwich. So Midwich are a worldwide AV distributor. Their head office is here in the UK in Diss. Last year, Midwich purchased Pulse Cinemas, which became another division of the Midwich Group. Invision UK and Pulse Cinemas are a trade distributor, so we distribute to the audiovisual trade, and home cinema end users would reach out to integrators for equipment and installations we supply to those companies.
I have also spoken with Tom Haves, who is Senior Sales Specialist at Pulse Cinemas. Tom gave me an exclusive look at their showroom. He shared some exciting insights into the cutting-edge equipment on display and the impressive acoustic room treatment they've implemented.
Yeah, so we distribute a brand called Acoustic, which is a Portuguese company. They make a whole host of acoustic treatments. Various sort of styles and designs that are available, some of which will be designed to be hidden behind acoustic fabric. Others, for example, like the VMT we see on the side here, is a fairly new product to them, and it's actually made from recycled bottles, so very, very eco-friendly. They compress that recycled bottles down under heat, which then gives them a solid surface, which then allows you to actually print onto them as well. Here it becomes the finish of the wall, but also is the acoustic treatment as well. We also have on the ceiling, you see some of the multi-fuser wood, which is designed as a diffuser. So it's solid wood material. We're not just concentrating on absorbing, we want to be able to diffuse the sound as well, certainly towards the back of the room where you've got the spatial effects from the speakers running around. Having that diffusion is important to not just to deaden the room. You want some life in there as well, and that helps with that side of it. We've been a bit creative here on the side walls as well. We're using one of their most iconic sort of designs, which is the wave wood. What we've done there is we've removed the back section of it, which would normally be absorption material, and then side lit it with some LED strips. So again, we've created a feature out of them. So yeah, we're trying to merge here with using the sort of off-the-shelf products that we can get from Acoustic with interior design as well. So we can be creative with them in the space, create a feature of them visually, but they're serving a purpose as well.
Last year, I finally ordered a box of Cinema Round premium panels for myself. Now I can't help but wonder why I didn't do it sooner. Just 8 panels have made a remarkable difference, significantly improving the acoustics in my living room. Apologies for distraction. Now let's take a closer look at the projection system installed in this showroom.
So we also distribute Sony in the UK for their residential projector series. In here we've actually currently got the VPL XW7000 projector from Sony, which is a native 4K projector rated at 3200 lumens. So really nice bright image. For this size of screen, it's an ideal sort of balance of price point and light output that we can achieve. You know, black levels, clarity, superb performance with that. And we've enhanced that further with the use of MadVR as well. So we're using a MAD-VR video processor between our Trinnov and the Sony. It sits in the video path, and that's handling all of the HDR tone mapping, stretch functions, aspect ratio handling, and color accuracy and motion AI as well. So it's doing a lot to the video signal and improving that, delivering the ultimate picture to the Sony.
Even the best projector on the market won't be able to deliver reference quality images without the right screen.
We distribute Screenresearch in the UK. Screenresearch is a dedicated manufacturer for primarily residential cinema screens, various different formats and sizes that they can accommodate. The one we have here is their flagship model, which is the XR3, which is a woven fabric, so very different to the micro-perforated material. This is a very fine weave with a black backing to it as well. That allows for minimal audio loss in comparison to a micro-perforated materials. There's an optional extra on the XR3 where you can add additional sort of features and functions, one of which is the decor mask. So it's a decorative piece of fabric that rolls down in front of the main screen. It's also acoustically transparent, which is quite a nice feature. If you don't just want to listen to music, you can still have the sound coming through, and just a nice piece of artwork to view. And then touch of a button, that rolls up to reveal the main screen. We have here 150 inches wide overall in a 2.40 ratio. We have then side maskings that will then automatically come in depending on the aspect ratio of the source that we're viewing. That's a really nice feature. Certainly it ties in very well with the control system that you use, which is a company called Ava. It gets the metadata from the likes of Kaleidescape to tell the system what aspect it needs to show, and then the masking will then come into from the sides to frame the image perfectly as well.
There is an ongoing debate in the home theater community about the best source for watching movies at home. Let's find out what Pulse Cinemas recommends as the top choice.
Primarily for video playback, we use Kaleidescape. We are the sole distributor in the UK for Kaleidescape, which is the reference standard for video playback in the industry. Bit perfect copy for video and audio. Kaleidescape will receive the mezzanine file from the studios when a new film is released. You know, a team of their engineers will sit down and watch that film, and they will look for faults in that file. And they will go back to the studio if need be and sort of say, oh, you know, this is a problem or this needs to be adjusted, until they are happy with it and they get the best possible file that's available. That's then available to download to their servers, which we house in our rack outside. You know, in comparison to Netflix and Amazon and those alike that are streaming services, we're offering over 10 times the bit rate that they would be able to offer from a stored location. Because we're not streaming, the file is fully downloaded before you can play back. There's no circle of death when you're trying to stream a film, and there's no video artifacts like you might see from Netflix. Certainly in Sky Shots is an obvious one where you sort of can get that banding effect. That's because obviously they're having to compress the video to get it down a phone line. Kaleidescape has also been built as a platform for integration. Someone will sit down from their team and watch every single film, and they will put the timestamps in so they know when the film starts, they know when the film finishes. Again, that's a really nice feature to deliver the ultimate cinema experience at home, because they can then trigger events from the control system. So dimming the lights when the film starts, ramping them up when the film finishes, little subtle things like that. The masking, as mentioned before, that's triggered from the variables that Kaleidescape will deliver to the control system. So it will say this film is in 16:9, it sends the control system 16:9 to make sure the masking comes in. So a lot of those sort of things that can happen in the background when a client has just pressed play on a film, all of these sort of functions can happen in the background, making a seamless experience for the end user.
As a sound engineer, I was particularly interested to hear Tom's insights about their sound system.
So the audio system we have in here is a combination of two brands primarily, which is Krix, which is an Australian speaker manufacturer, They've been going for 50 years now as a company, still run by the founder, Scott Krix, and his brothers that help run the company. Traditionally, horn-loaded speakers will have quite a narrow dispersion, but with the waveguide that they've designed in-house and patented, you get a much wider dispersion angle compared to conventional sort of horn-loaded speakers. What they're able to achieve certainly is that off-axis, really immersive sound field. You just get this really wide, nice, expansive, open sound stage. So the system we have in here across the front, got 3 of their sort of, we would say, semi-commercial speakers for the LCRs. They're a 3-way design. We have a horn-loaded tweeter for the high frequency. We then have a horn-loaded mid-range, and then we have a 15-inch ported bass drive unit as well, handling the sort of mid to low frequencies. They're also bi-amped as well, which we're using Trinnov power amps as well. The rest of the speakers we have are Krix Hyperphonics, which are a soft dome tweeter and a 90 by 90 waveguide to allow sort of versatile installation. We have front wides, we have side surrounds, second set of side surrounds, and surround backs as well at the sort of ear level listening position. We then have 6 in-ceiling overhead speakers for the Atmos. We then have 3 height speakers for Oro and DTSX, centre, left and right across the front there. We then have 2 Voice of God speakers as well in the middle here, again for DTSX and Oro 3D applications. On the low frequency side, we're using Krix's 18-inch ported subwoofers. We have 4 on the front positioned at the quarter points. Same position is mirrored on the back, so we can achieve the waveforming double bass array sort of implementation from Trinnov.
I'm grateful that David Meyerowitz, technical sales manager at Trinnov, took the time to answer all my questions about their innovative products installed at Pulse Cinemas.
Yeah, so in this room we have the Altitude 32. Actually something that's I think is quite interesting. The serial number of that unit is actually number 82. So that's actually built back end of 2014, that was actually manufactured, and it was first sold at the start of 2015. For an AV processor on the market, when you think of the general sort of consumer brands, you've got a product turnover of, I mean, it can be as quick as 6 months to a year. With the Altitude, with its software platform, we can have that unit from 2015 and we can upgrade it for the latest technology, for waveforming as an example, almost 10 years later. That's the heart of the operation. We've then got 2 Amplitude 16s. So with the Krix, I believe it's actually the Theatrics, we're bi-amping those. So we've got a bridge channel on the bottom for the 15, and then the mid-frequency and the high-frequency horns are single-ended because they're quite efficient. So we've got 28 channels of amplification in this room. We spread that across 2 amplifiers. The benefits of a Class D amplifier and a switch mode power supply is they don't have a massive inrush current. Big toroidal power supplies, they need to store a lot of that current so that on demand they can provide that power. But a linear power supply like we have, they don't need to store that current. They're very, very efficient. They're very fast in terms of delivering that power. So the standby power, I don't have the figure on the top of my head, but it's very, very low. They don't take any power at all. And really when they're peaking as well, we did a show with Krix, so it was ISE, and we ran all the speakers, all 16 subwoofers, we ran on the Amplitude 16s. If I remember correctly, we were drawing at peak, I think 9 amps. It's not a lot of current needed, a lot of wattage, but not a lot of current. So very, very efficient in that way, yeah.
And of course, I couldn't miss the opportunity to ask David about the waveforming.
As Trinnov, we're doing fundamental audio research. You know, that's where we really give back to the scientific community within the business. We have a large R&D team, and this project for waveforming has been something like 7 years in the making now. We released waveforming to the public only 4 weeks ago. The idea of the technology, again, it all stemmed out of Arnaud Labry's own system and a problem that he needed to resolve in his own system, and then that got him thinking. The problem we have in small rooms is standing waves, and we've done a short demonstration that proves that even having 4 subwoofers in a room, you still suffer with standing wave problems. You know, you can optimize, you know, a single seating area, maybe 2 seats, one adjacent, maybe a whole sofa if you're lucky, depending on where you put those seats. But these standing waves cause such issues. Really, 100 hertz and below, to deal with these kind of problems is very, very complicated. You're fighting physics, first of all. Majority of the other problems that you're fighting are always an interaction between speaker and room. But when you get to these really long wavelengths, this is where you start to hit these problems, and you get these big cancellations and you get these big peaks. And there's very few ways to actually treat that problem. You can use bass trapping, that will remove some of the decay, but it won't do anything to actually kill those room modes. And that's really the task that waveforming was designed to do. So in a very simplified way, the front subs work as an emitting array, and the number of subs you need depends on the size of the seating area and the size of the room. You can start with as little as 4, and you can go as many as you need, really, or as many as you want in certain circumstances. So the front array does the emitting, and what we've learned from our research is that the way that you shape the sound field and the way that you emit that bass wave from the front of the room is probably the most important part. Once we send that wave from the front, the next part is to actually steer the bass. So we do that off the ceiling and the sidewalls. So when we have a 3-dimensional array, like we have here, we have 4 subs on the quarter points of the room, we can then steer the bass in horizontal and vertical directions. That cuts down massively those reflections. And those reflections are what causes a loss of the interference and therefore the cancellations. The biggest one of those reflections being the back wall. Okay, so that's the one that provides us with the fundamental modal response of the room. When the wave gets to the back, it's been shaped and constructed in such a way to minimize reflections, and then the rear subs effectively absorb that wave, and it's a much cleaner wave would be otherwise emitted. So we do a very, very effective job of absorbing that wave. Now, because we don't have 100% cone area at the back, we can't absorb everything. So anything that does come back is reduced in magnitude by order of something like 80%, so it becomes virtually inaudible. And if it does go back to the front of the room, the front subs then reabsorb it. Both sets of subs are working as emitters and absorbers to solve this particular problem. And anyone who's familiar with home cinema design and trying to mitigate these issues, particularly across a very large seating area, you're really fighting an impossible battle. If you're just focused on one seat, then you can do a very effective job with other technologies, double bass arrays, or however you go about it. Waveforming is the first technology that really removes the modal response, and that frees up a lot of opportunities.
A big thank you to David for sharing such exciting insights into Trinnov's products, particularly the new waveforming technology. I had the pleasure of recording an in-depth interview with David, where he went into even more detail about Trinnov. This is just a small preview of our conversation. If you would like to watch the full interview, feel free to let me know in the comments below. This is it for this video. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.